I'm Adam Anshel for Pro Football Weekly with a look at the draft grades for the NFC South, presented by Verizon Fios. I'm joined by our draft expert, Nolan Naraki. Nolan, let's start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were a surprise last year, 10-6 record. Now you gave them a B. A lot of talent here.
Yeah, I think they really filled that glaring need at defensive end with Adrian Claiborne and Daquan Bowers with their first two picks. Bowers was a guy that slid to the second round, but he's got a ton of talent, and if he hits and is able to stay healthy, I think they'll come away with two very good starters.
Yeah, I mean, it really could be a huge steal for them if Bowers ends up paying off. As you look further down the draft, they got a running back, a couple of DBs. Did they fill the areas they needed to?
I think they filled areas, and I think they found some very good scheme fits as well. I think Ahmad Black will be a great fit in that defense, and Anthony Gator, to me, also is a great fit. I think they could be very good value picks late in the round.
The New Orleans Saints also given a B, and really an impressive first day of the draft. They traded back in to get another first-round pick. But when you look at it the whole thing, what do you like most?
I think the first two picks, I think they got impact players. Cameron Jordan and Mark Ingram, I think on each side of the ball will come in and make immediate contributions.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue coming back in. You thought maybe they would take Ingram with their first pick in the first round. They end up trading back in and getting him later. A strong first day. But as you move on, Martez Wilson, is he a guy that you could see panning out?
He could start at Sam linebacker for them in time, and I think Johnny Patrick could be a solid corner for him. Greg Romeus was great value in the 7th round, and even Nate Bussey, I think, will be a solid special teams contributor.
Yeah, certainly a lot of names there that we were familiar with leading into the draft. Looks impressive from the Saints. The Carolina Panthers, obviously the first overall pick, Cam Newton, was controversial, but when you look at the whole depth of their draft, how do you see it?
I think it's solid. You know, they took some risk with Terrell McClain, Brandon Hogan in the 4th, but I think the two of them have potential to become starters. It's another one like the Detroit Lions. I think there was a lot of risk involved. It's a boomer bust draft, and if it hits, it could be great. You know, if it doesn't, you might be looking at a D or an F in 2 or 3 years.
We talked before the draft about Marty Hurney, how he had always been a pretty conservative drafter. That just went out the window this year.
Yeah, I think he felt the pressure more than ever, and I know they did a lot of homework and really tried to put a plan together to see it come through. So, you know, I think they feel comfortable with what they have, and you know, he's a guy that could make a difference for him.
Certainly was a lack of talent on that team, so any way you can get it, I guess it will work. The Atlanta Falcons, the best team in that division last year. A C+ in this draft, though controversial, a huge trade to get Julio Jones. Was it just the trade that hurt their value?
Yeah, I really like the picks that they made all the way through this draft. The only thing you got to look at is they lost their first rounder next year. They lost the 4th. They just gave up so much. That's the only reason the grade is where it's at. But Julio Jones is a guy that could come in and be an immediate playmaker. I like Akeem Dent as a linebacker. I thought they got great value with Jacquizz Rodgers.
Now, is Julio Jones really worth that? He wasn't even the top wide receiver in this draft, and they traded away so much to get him. Is he that much of an impact player? I
think their offense really needed another threat opposite Roddy White, so I think that's key. And he's a guy that's going to be able to work underneath, and you know he's more pro-ready than A.J. Green. He may not be as talented, but he's a guy that's going to come in and just work. So I think they could feel very comfortable with what they're getting.
One last one on the Falcons. It wasn't their offense that was a problem last year. It was their defense that really hurt them. Did they answer anything here?
Yeah, the only guys I got are Akeem Dent and Cliff Matthews, and I think both of them have the makeup you want. But you still got free agency. You got to keep that in mind, so they can always double back around and improve the team later down the road.
We'll have to see if that's the way things play out. That is a look at the draft grades for the NFC South. For the best draft analysis, be sure to follow us on Twitter or go to ProFootballWeekly.com.